Okay, the key message from the past few slides is that surge pricing, or in general dynamic pricing, is very important. It helps us to match demand and supply. So for traditional taxi and Uber or Grab, without the surge pricing, demand and supply cannot be matched. Okay, so now let's move to the third part of the mood, which is on-demand ride sharing or on-demand carpooling. Okay, so for the on-demand ride sharing, the DD Hatch 顺风车 or the blah blah car, the thing is, demand and supply can be matched automatically without set pricing. Now, this is actually very surprising finding. Okay, so at the beginning when we noticed this, well, actually, so this is this is a statistical result found out by the company. And then I'm one of the consultants for them, so they tell me that even without dynamic pricing, okay, so the demand and supply can be matched automatically, and this is like amazing. I mean, at the beginning, nobody believes it, and we just want to find the reason. So, for example, for DD, right? So there are more than 2 million rides daily, and every request can be matched in a few minutes. And this is very surprising because we know that. So for traditional taxis, the same thing. There's no surge pricing, and whenever we reach the peak hour, there's no way we can match the demand and supply. But for DD and blah blah car, they can actually do that without surge pricing, and that's actually amazing. So, okay, so if you understand what I'm saying, so let's have the second discussion. So why on-demand ride-sharing systems can have demand and supply match automatically without surge pricing? So to answer this question, we actually need to compare the private hire car, for example, Grab or Uber, with the on-demand ride sharing, for example, the blah blah car, again from the economic and operational point of views. So if you want to go back, you can go back to the first video to see it again, how the blah blah car thing works. Okay, so let me now elaborate on the differences. Okay, so let's look at Grab and blah blah car. So the difference. The first of all, on the driver side. Okay, so for Uber or Grab, what are the drivers? Well, the drivers are considered as professional drivers. Well, they can be both. They can be either full-time or part-time. Okay, but they are professional drivers, which means that when they drive for Uber, although they have some other job at other times, but when they drive for Uber, they are similar as taxi driver. Their job is to send passengers from a place to another place by the passenger's need. Okay, so although they could be part-time, but it's the same as taxi driver when they drive. Okay, however, for blah blah car, it's not the case. The drivers are not professional drivers. They only drive probably for one trip. Okay, so which means, okay, so I drive for blah blah car not to earn the money. I drive first of all because I have a travel need. I want to go from Paris to Lyon today tonight. Okay, I know that I will drive my car so that if I have additional seats, I will offer them. But if I do not have the driver need, okay, so I won't drive today. There's no point for me to go to another city. Even I know there are people asking for seats, I won't drive them. Okay, so I drive first of all because of my own need. And if I have additional seats, I will offer them, share them. Okay? So for the matching, how we do the matching? For Grab and Uber, so the drivers takes any order. Okay, so in fact, we know that, right? For Ubers and Grab, when the platform send the request to the drivers, they won't tell the driver while the passengers will go, because all drivers want to take the long distance trips to the airport, for example. Nobody want to take the short distance ones. If we tell them the destination, some orders will be rejected. So for most of the Uber and Grab platforms, we won't tell the drivers where they go. So and you need to accept any orders because you're like taxi driver. Okay, so driver and the rider cannot select each other. Okay, so when the rider request, the drivers take request, and the platform gonna do the match. Okay, so On the other hand, so that's for Grab and Uber. Okay, so on the other hand, for blah blah car, the same is the driver only takes same route, right? As I mentioned. So if I'm driving from Paris to Lyon, I will take somebody to Lyon. If you're going to other city, I won't drive you. Okay, so I only drive those people who are on the same direction as my own trip. Okay, so driver and the rider can select each other. Okay, the driver publishes the trip information, and the rider also publishes the request information, and the platform only suggests the matching. So actually, for those of you who have used the BlaBlaCar or the DD, so what happens is like this. Okay, not the whole DD. So the major part of DD is similar to Uber and Grab, but there's a portion of DD called DDH or 顺风车 is like BlaBlaCar. So what happens that for this kind of platforms, when you log in, they ask you, are you a driver or a rider? So it's like, for example, I'm a driver. So then you need to, this is kind of like a BBS. You need to write down where you go from and where you go to. Okay, this is my origin and destination and approximately when you're going to drive. Okay, and then how many seats you have, and do you want to offer the seats to everybody, or let's say you only want to offer the seats to female or male, you can have some constraint. Okay, same thing for the riders. You need to tell the platform where you want to go and when you want to go, and your constraints, and then the platform gonna do some analytics. Now let's see. So now I'm a rider. After I publish my request, the platform gonna select those drivers who are on the similar time, similar routes, okay, and suggest to me. And then I can look into their profiles, their pictures, their comments. If I think they're good guys, I can actually talk to them. And if one of them say, okay, we match each other, we have similar time, similar route, then we will have the match. So people talk to each other to get the match. But the platform only suggests, they're not doing the matching. Okay. So because of that, then so just the basic difference. Okay, now I will explain why without even third pricing, or the demand and supply can be matched automatically by the BlaBlaCar. This is the amazing part. Okay, so let's say for Ubers. Okay, so the pool of drivers, we call them the supply. The pool of riders, we call them the demand. Okay, so a platform user at any point of time can belong to either the pool of drivers or the pool of riders, but not both, right? Think about the graph. So at any point of time, let's say now, let's say now for all the Grab users in Singapore, you are either a driver or a rider. Let me for now, for me, I can be a rider, but I can't be a driver, and the driver cannot be a rider. Sure, if I'm a driver now, tomorrow if I want to go to airports, I may also take another car, but for this point of time, I'm only a driver, and the drivers and riders are separate, right? Just like taxi, there'll be taxi drivers and taxi riders, and they're separated. Okay? So demand and supply are separated, and this is like similar to most of the standard economic systems. Okay? Now let's look at the BlaBlaCar case. Okay, so let me elaborate a possible decision-making process of a user.